Domenica has admitted her affair with the murdered man, Lorimer, but refused to disclose where their meetings took place. Dalgleish suspects that her brother, Max Howarth, the director of Hoggart's laboratory, is shielding her or himself. Clifford Bradley has admitted to being with Lorimer just before his murder.
What happens to me now?
We should drive you to the police station at Guy's Marsh, where you'll make a formal statement.
And me?
Oh, yes, you too, Mrs. Bradley.
You do believe us, don't you? You must believe us.
Stella Mawson has told Angela that she knows who killed Lorimer.
Oh, Star, don't go out, please. I'm afraid.
Oh, my darling. There's nothing to worry about. Quite the reverse. Rang my publishers this afternoon. They're going to advance us the money we need to make up the mortgage.
Just like that?
Good books are beginning to sell again, they say. Even art authors, as they call us.
Won't you come in? Do forgive what my old nurse used to call my disability. My own little den. I do like to be private. I told Dr. Kerrison I would only consider coming to look after the children if I had my privacy. It's a rare and beautiful thing, don't you think? The human spirit wilts without it. True. Now, how may I help you?
We found your name and address in Dr. Lorimer's desk. We wondered why. Were you friends?
Oh, yes. He used to drive me to church every Sunday. So kind. I'm afraid we were two reprobate high Anglicans in an evangelical swampland.
Did he call for you last Sunday?
Yes. But he did telephone me a few weeks earlier to say that he'd stopped going to church for the moment. Then he came back to me. Naturally, I didn't question him. One does go through these dark nights of the soul.
Did you ever phone him?
Oh, no, why on earth should I? I don't even know his number. By the way, I was very distressed that the police did not call for Canon Gregory. He should have been called to the body.
Dr. Lorimer had been dead for some time before the body was discovered.
Even so.
John?
Miss Willard, where were you between the hours of 8 and 10 the night Dr. Lorimer was killed?
I was here all the evening, watching the television.
With Dr. Kerrison?
Oh, no. Up here. But he was in, though, because later on I went downstairs to see whether the front door was bolted. He's a dear man, but he is a little bit vague about locking up, and I do like to feel secure. As I passed his study door, it was ajar, and I heard him speaking on the telephone.
Anything more?
No, sir.
Thank you, Miss Willard.
Young man, kindly shut that window. You so inconsiderately opened.
day. What a day.
I thought we'd never get finished.
I don't reckon they found that missing exhibit number. Or if they did, Al Reynolds was playing it very close to his chest. Right, come on, we'll start imagining things.
I already have. Wherever it was, did it? It must have stood here.
I told you, Brenda, stop exercising your mind.
I can't tell my mind to stop thinking.
I can.
Good night.
Brenda, it's getting late. Leave the bike, I'll give you a lift.
No, I'll be all right. Good night.
Night. Just walked up, sir.
Oh, that's all right. We don't need to go inside.
How's it going?
I wish I knew the answer, Inspector.
Sorry, sir. Good night.
Good night.
What are we doing here?
Well, this is where Doyle parked.
You'd see anybody coming down that drive. Of course, sir, for a proper reconstruction, we would need to canoodle in the back seat.
I'm sorry, John. I've got to draw the line somewhere.
Oh, no. Who'd do a thing like that? This will be quicker.
Well, we've established we can see anybody from the drive. So, what are we waiting for? I said, what are we waiting for, sir?
Well, because I'm thinking. Lorimer was waiting here to meet someone. And it wasn't Bradley and it wasn't Doyle.
Howarth, jealous of his sister's affair.
Possibly. But somehow it seems the wrong way around. Anyway, the killing was innocent.
Innocent?
Yeah, not premeditated. The murderer saw his chance and took it.
Back to Bradley, then. His last statement could have been a pack of lies. Has been known for murderers to lie before.
John, not on the move for irony.
That's right.
Yes? She was, when? I see, thank you. Stella Mawson was married to Lorimer. It lasted a year before being annulled.
When?
23 years ago, when he was a student in London doing his PhD.
Sir, stop. Can you hear that?
It's the chapel.
John, get a knife. Brenda? Brenda? John! John! Oh! Try respiration.
It's all right, she just fainted. Come on, then. Come on.
I came in, there she was!
Come on. What happened? Why did you come here?
Punches! No, not punches. It was a shortcut, I was late. I'm glad you're here. So...
Jack. You're good. So I'll take over. Get a doctor, get over to Howarth, right? Your stupid pride. You were married to Lorimer. Why didn't you tell me? If I'd known, I could have saved you. Breathe, damn you, breathe!
They're on their way. Anything?
No, not yet.
Well, I've called the whole circus.
Good. Come on, Brendan. Come on. Come on. Here you go.
She killed Lorimer for refusing that loan so he wouldn't change his will. Then as we moved closer, she committed suicide.
You're wrong.
Well, it's a reasonable theory, sir.
And you know what you can do with it. There's no reason we're dealing with!
I'm sorry.
So am I.
Brenda.
Come on, Brenda. Come on, come on. Come on. We'll get her up, sir. Yeah. Put her on a pew.
Okay, I've got it.
Right, John. Okay.
Could you cover up bullet, please?
Sir, have you noticed the hymn board?
Yes, 1840. Do you think it's a coincidence?
It certainly explains the number old Lorimer heard on the phone.
Come on, Brenda. Yes, and Can wasn't sure for cannabis at all, but perhaps for the candles being burned out?
Well, Doyle did react to the cannabis, sir, and a batch was missing.
You rushed in and scored up to a point.
Yeah, sheer bloody coincidence.
Oh, come on, be fair to yourself, John. We're going to get nothing more from her. She's in deep shock.
Yes. So there are no church services held here. So what do those numbers mean? And who was it who phoned old Lorimer?
Well, the numbers are a code. The odd thing is, they weren't here this morning. Ah, Sergeant Reynolds. Where's the pathologist?
He's on his way now, sir.
Good.
Not for both of them.
No, thank God. Pridmore found the body. She's just fainted.
And this one hanged herself.
Looks like it, yes.
Who is she?
Stella Mawson. Oh, John, did you get hold of Dr. Howard?
The guys march are onto it, sir.
Right, get on to them again, will you? I want Angela Foley brought here quickly as possible.
Sir.
See if there's a blanket or something for her.
Oh, is it all right they start, sir?
Of course. Move the body. That area up there is important to the chair and the rope. Brenda. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. Relax.
No reply from Angela Foley, sir.
No? Dr. Kerrison, here first, please. Sir. Yes. I think she's in shock.
Well, Brenda, did she find?
Yes.
It's all right, Brenda. It's all right. It's all right. She should be at home in bed. If you want a question, it'll have to be tomorrow.
Oh.
Yes, I'm sorry.
John, could you take her home? I'll explain to her parents.
Something a good night's sleep won't cure.
Come on, Brenda. You can make it. Can you manage? No? Okay. Up we go. Open the car door, would you?
Where the hell's Howarth? He should be here.
What?
Nothing.
Any idea why she came here?
Not yet, no.
Well, she very recently died.
Yes, I know that.
Yes, well, I still have to say it.
So I'm sorry, Dr. Kerrison. I blame myself. This needn't have happened.
I like Miss Mawson, an intelligent woman.
We found her about 10 to 8, give or take a minute.
Yes, we were at least half an hour too late to revive her, possibly more.
Oh?
Yes, an hour or so. They say she died somewhere between 6 and 10 to 8.
Suicide, murder?
There's no sign of manual throttling, and the cord doesn't seem to have been superimposed over a finer ligature. There's just the double mark encircling the neck, and the cord fits, as you can see.
But it would have been quite easy to overpower her.
Well, there's no sign of a struggle. Fingernails are clean, so she didn't have a chance to scratch. If we assume murder, that is, and if we do, her attacker would have had to have looped the cord over her head very fast and strung her up almost as soon as unconsciousness supervened.
Possible?
Yes, yes.
Can I judge?
Yes. Have to wait till I get her on the table. And I'll be able to tell you whether she died from strangulation, broken neck, or vagal inhibition.
The undertakers are here, sir. Would you like to go ahead?
No, not yet. All right, you can come in now.
Dr. Kerrison?
Yes?
How soon can you do the post-mortem?
Well, first thing tomorrow.
Well, couldn't you do it tonight?
I'll try, but it's difficult. The hospital staff are rather intransigent these days. It could be difficult.
See what you can do.
Yes.
Thank you, Doctor.
What time's the Lorimer inquest tomorrow?
Oh, not till 2.
Well, I don't suppose I need to be there. Blaine Thompson did the post-mortem. They're probably adjourned anyway. I'll give you a ring and a preliminary as soon as I can.
Thank you. Sergeant Reynolds, you can search the body now.
Stella Mawson.
My God. Is she dead?
Yes, I'm afraid so.
What? I wonder how she knew how to find the cord.
You recognize it?
Oh, yes, it's from this chest, isn't it? There should be two of them.
Be careful. Please don't touch.
I'm sorry. They're identical.
How did you know that there were two rooms?
When I took over, I had an inventory made, and by some administrative quirk, this chapel is counted as part of Hoggett's. Well, of course, the chest was never locked. Anybody could have looked in there and found the cord.
Excuse me. How many keys are there to this chapel?
One. To the best of my knowledge, it's hanging on the board in Blakelock's cubbyhole. I showed it to you. You've seen it.
Oh, yes, of course. Please excuse me. Miss Howard, may I speak to you, please?
All right if I get the mortuary people in now?
Yes, Dr. Carson, do. Would you... Please sit down. You borrowed the key, didn't you? And how did others cut from it? I've got Lorimer's.
Here's the other.
You had just the two count?
Didn't need any more, did we? Do you want it?
Yes. Thank you. You don't deny you used to meet him?
No. No, I don't deny it. Why should I? It wasn't illegal. We were in our right minds, of age, free. It wasn't even adultery. You seem fascinated by my sex life, Superintendent. You really mustn't let it become an obsession.
Did you ask for the key back when you broke with Lorimer?
No, I didn't need it. It wasn't an engagement ring.
Who found her?
Miss Pridmore. Excuse me. Sergeant Reynolds? Sergeant? I want Miss Pridmore's bike checked. It's out there somewhere. I'm not quite sure where.
Right, sir. What was she doing here? Haven't you questioned her?
She was in shock, Dr. Howard.
Yes, of course. Poor girl, I'm sorry.
Now you know about the keys, Superintendent. Can we go?
Oh, John, good. Is she all right?
I think so, sir.
I'd like you to accompany Dr. Howard to the lab. Check whether the key to this place is still there.
Sir.
And that is all you'll need from us?
From you, yes, for the moment, thank you. You'll give an account of your whereabouts this evening to Inspector Massingham.
And me?
Oh, I still need you, Miss Howard. Shut the door. Now, where were you between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock this evening?
I went to Cambridge. I was with friends till about 7:30, then I drove home. I suppose if this was murder, that makes me a suspect.
Would you like to show me where you and Lorimer used to make love?
Is that necessary?
Yes.
Very well. We took a couple of hassocks from there and put them down here.
I see, and lit the candles.
Yes, are you shocked?
No. Why did you say you used Lorimer's car?
Conscience. I didn't want to betray him anymore.
I don't believe you. I didn't then, I don't now.
It's true.
Who else do you meet here? Who else have you given a key to?
No one.
Then how did Miss Mawson get in?
Well, how the hell do I know? Either she borrowed the key herself from the laboratory, or else her friend, Angela Foley, took it for her.
Possibly.
And while I'm doing your work for you, have you considered the possibility that Stella Mawson might well have murdered Edwin Lorimer and then taken her own life?
I've been offered that solution already. Can you give me one good reason why?
She was once married to him. Didn't you know that? Hadn't you ferreted it out?
I heard earlier this evening. How much did Lorimer tell you about his marriage?
He said it wasn't consummated. They got an annulment. I don't think he ever told his parents. He was in London at the time doing postgraduate research. He thought he loved me because I made him feel he was good in bed. I'm sorry. You won't believe me, but I am sorry.
Is Star here?
Excuse me. Miss Foley.
Miss Stella?
Miss Foley. Your friend's dead.
Star?
All right, help me, Sergeant Reynolds. Take her home. Come on, I want a doctor. Sedation. I'll talk to her in the morning, okay?
And you can go home as well, Miss Hart.
I'm dismissed?
Yes.
Sir, the key to here was still on its hook.
John, look at this. 2 different types of hair, see?
Yes.
We need to check that.
Yes, sir. I rang Angela Foley again, still no reply. So I went round there. All the lights were on, but she wasn't in. I thought of breaking in.
She came here.
Here? Well, then she must have known.
Perhaps. Before I could ask her, she had hysterics. Miss Howarth confirmed Lorimer's marriage to Stella Mawson. Explains quite a lot, especially the changing of the will. Presumably, he couldn't bear to think of her benefiting even indirectly. Or was it the thought that, unlike him, she'd found happiness?
All right, so she and Angela got nothing. That's not a reason for killing yourself. And you've already made it clear you don't think she killed Lorimer. And why here, anyway?
I don't know. She came here to meet Lorimer's murderer, and he killed her.
And who is he?
Well, we have a choice. I have 2 candidates.
Yes. Howarth, one, and?
His sister's present lover.
But she said there was no one else after that.
Oh, she was lying. She intended to meet him here tomorrow.
Did you ask her, sir?
Look at the hymn board. Well, 1840, 640. What's the date tomorrow?
The 11th, 8th August. 11th of the 8th at 6:40.
So? Bag them.
Should we bring her in, sir?
Unfortunately, it's not proof.
Well, I'd have thought that's enough to start getting it.
No.
Why not? They'll hardly keep their rendezvous here tomorrow, will they? Not now.
It seems unlikely, I agree.
Well, then.
There's something I want the killer to do first.
What?
Excuse me, sir. Message from Sergeant Reynolds.
Just a moment.
Oh, sir.
We got Miss Foley home. The doctor sent for a district nurse. Do you want a man posted there, sir?
Yes.
About Miss Pridmore's bike. The tyres were slashed. Bloody great gashes.
I see. Thank you, Constable.
Call it a day, can we?
Yes. There will be someone on duty, will there? This place has still got to be checked.
Yes, sir. Good night, sir.
Good night.
Sir, what is it you want the killer to do?
Suffer. It'll be poetic justice.
Max, are you awake?
Yes.
Oh, Max, what can we do?
I don't know.
It's all my fault.
You've changed your mind then? You said it wasn't your fault. You didn't consider yourself to blame at all.
That was before.
You afraid? Was Dalgleish offensive?
Not more than usual.
Did you find him attractive?
Oh, me. Oh, me.
Shh, don't. There. It's us against the world. Remember?
None of this would have happened if... Oh, Max. Loving you is like being ill and not being allowed to get better.
I don't think I've ever told you this before. When I was about 11 years old, I was absolutely convinced that Father had murdered our mothers.
Both of them. What an odd idea. Yours died of a heart attack and mine of pneumonia. You could hardly have organised that.
No. I think I thought he'd done it to stop them having any more babies.
Well, it would certainly do that. Perhaps you were wondering if a tendency to murder is inherited? Don't answer it.
I must.
It'll be him.
I know.
I don't want to see him again.
Go back to bed.
No.
Well, you must.
No. Nothing matters anymore.
Rise and shine. Mum, you slept 12 hours. That Mr. Dalgleish is here.
The state she was in.
Brender'll be all right, Arthur.
She ain't faced the worst of it yet, have she? What's life got to be like for her in this village until all them murders are solved?
Good Lord, no one's going to suspect Brenda.
And there's a slander, gossip. Folk around here are superstitious. They don't forget, let alone forgive. There's such a thing as being tainted with bad luck.
The lass is fine. She's had a nasty shock, but it's nothing that a good night's sleep hasn't put right. She's young, healthy. Take more than a couple of corpses to turn her into a neurotic wreck. My family's been doctoring yours for 3 generations. There's none of you gone off your heads yet.
She's not too bad. You can go up now, she says.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes, of course. I'm calling next at Sprague's cottage.
All right. If Miss Foley's fit enough to see us, perhaps you could telephone me him.
Yes, I will. And you, Arthur, can drop all this morbid nonsense about people gossiping about Brenda. She'll be the local heroine, more likely.
Brenda?
Hello again. How are you?
All right.
Good. Strictly speaking, we should have a policewoman with us.
Well, I don't mind.
Yes, but your mother may.
Oh, I dare say it'll be all right. It's you questioning her, taking it all up again, I mind.
Don't worry, Mrs. Pridmore. Talking about it may help.
If you say so.
Poor Mum. Me finding one body was bad enough.
You may sit down. Thank you.
I told her I wanted to talk about last night. She wouldn't believe me. I do wish I hadn't fainted, though. You tried to bring me round, didn't you?
Yes.
I don't remember much, except for ringing the chapel bell.
Well, that was clever of you. We were parked in Hoggart's Drive, so we heard you. Otherwise, it might have been hours before Miss Mawson's body was discovered.
It weren't clever, it were panic. Somebody cut my tyres, so I took a shortcut through the grounds, pushing my bike. And it got ever so dark and scary, and I started imagining things. It sounds silly now, but it wasn't then.
We found your bike, we're checking it out, but I don't think it had anything to do with what happened in the chapel. Now, did you get the impression there might have been someone else in the chapel?
You think she was murdered, and that the murderer was still there when I came in.
Well, you obviously didn't get that impression at the time.
Well, no. Well, I just saw her hanging there, with a chair tipped over.
You're quite sure it was tipped over?
Yes. Well, she must have kicked it away, so I thought she committed suicide. Hadn't she?
I don't think so. We'll know more after the post-mortem, perhaps. So you grabbed the chair, you stood on it, to reach for the bell rope.
Was that why Inspector Massingham took away my shoes last night? Mum told me. I shouldn't have used that chair, should I? Well, now you won't be able to tell whether any marks or soil came from my shoes or hers. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Brenda, did you turn the lights on?
Yes.
And were the candles already burning?
Yes. It was seeing their glow made me run to the chapel in the first place. Do you think she lit them before she committed suicide? Oh, but you don't think she did. Well, then why didn't whoever it was blow them out or shut the door?
They wanted it to look like suicide.
It's still a strange way to kill someone. But suicides do often hang themselves. Well, Mr. Bolam's pigman did, and old Vera Makepeace. We see, round here, people usually hang themselves or shoot themselves. Because, well, on a farm, there's always a gun or a rope.
You make the fence sound terrible.
Well, they can be in winter.
Yeah. Did you know Miss Mawson?
Not really. Well, she came to the lab once with Miss Foley, that's all. So just by sight. Well, she's famous, isn't she?
Well, she wrote very good novels, yes. Right, you've been very helpful, Brenda, thank you.
You know, I don't think Mum and Dad will let me go back to the lab now. In fact, I'm sure they won't. Well, they want me to marry Gerald Bolam. His family own this farm. I think I'd like to marry him. At least, I never thought of marrying anybody else. But not just yet. It'd be nice to have a proper career first. But Mum will fret if I stay on at the lab. And you can't hurt people when they love you.
No.
Sir. Miss Foley? You were asleep. We couldn't ask your permission.
Are you apologising?
No, it has to be done. Please sit down.
I'm all right.
I'll be in the kitchen.
Did you know your friend was once married to Dr. Lorimer?
She always referred to him as Edwin. Not Dr. Lorimer, but I assumed, she'd got that from me. I didn't know.
They were never divorced. The marriage was annulled because of non-consummation.
We never really talked about the past. When we came to live here, it was a new beginning for both of us. Odd things would come out. Jobs she'd done, university. Never that.
Do you feel able to tell me what happened last night?
I think so. She said she was going for a walk. She usually did, but normally after supper.
What time did she go?
Just after 6:30.
Did she have the key to the chapel with her?
Oh, she must have done.
Only Inspector Blakelock said no one asked for it yesterday.
Well, I borrowed it once for her about 3 months ago. She thought it would be a suitable setting for a scene in a novel. Perhaps she got another one cut. She did it for me. She killed herself for me so I could have the money from her life assurance.
No, that's rubbish. Her life insurance would have had a suicide clause. If she'd killed herself, you'd get nothing. No, she died because she knew who killed Dr. Lorimer. And for some reason, she went to meet that person last night. And it was that person who had a key. Was she happy here with you?
Yes. She said she'd never been so happy in all her life. She said that's what being in love was. Making another person happy. And being made happy by them in return.
Well, there you are. Would she have thought you'd prefer to have the money? She knew the terms of a life policy. She was very intelligent, wasn't she? She'd have read it very carefully. Miss Foley, your friend did not commit suicide. Did she tell you who killed Dr. Lorimer?
Well, she said she knew who it was. But she wouldn't say any more.
Or did she say whether it was male or female?
No. You think she went to blackmail the murderer, don't you? Well, she wouldn't. See, she wasn't like that. Only a fool would walk into that kind of danger, and Stella wasn't a fool. You said so yourself. She wouldn't voluntarily have gone alone at night to meet a killer, not for any money. I know we needed the money for the mortgage, but she wouldn't. She couldn't. No. And no sane person would.
Not even if the killer were a woman?
No. I'll never see her again. She'll never speak to me. Not to anyone. She'll never write another word.
Hello?
I don't believe it yet. I don't know, it must be true, otherwise you wouldn't be here. But I still don't believe.
It's Guy's Mercer. Mr. Bradley wants to add to his statement. He wants to speak to you personally. He's in Hogwarts.
How shall I bear it when I do?
Don't must sing that.
He'll be there. Goodbye.
Miss Foley. Why did you lie to me?
When?
Well, when you told me that you were both here the entire evening that Dr. Lorimer died. You'd agreed your story, hadn't you, eh? But it wasn't I.
Are you certain Star was murdered?
Well, I can't prove it yet, but yes, I'm absolutely certain.
She did go out that night. She She was out from 8:30 to 9:30. I don't know where she'd been. But she was quite ordinary and composed when she came home. So I suppose that makes me an accomplice.
Why, I'd have cautioned you if you were an accomplice, wouldn't I?
That's enough.
Miss Foley. Your friend didn't kill Dr. Lorimer. It has to be a man. But only he would have suggested using the chapel. Only he would have had a key.
What do you want to meet him for?
If I knew that, I'd know everything.